Ladies and gentlemen, the wild thing about this story is I didn't even remember the fact that I already had spoken about this. I went back and watched my own video. It's actually on the channel if you want to go back and look it up. And I think you can find it by Mom's boyfriend's name, which is Tyrone Johnson. But I did this story before, and I'm not going to lie. Like, the stuff I was saying, I was like, wow, it still rings true, a lot of the things in the message that I speak. We continue to advocate for children, and we continue to keep trying to educate women and mothers to be extremely careful in your dating choices. Do background checks. Do what you can. Be very diligent. Because when you bring a monster into your house, when you go to the thug zoo and you get to playing with the thug grizzly bears and the thug lions with your kids in tow, it puts you all at risk. And all I'm asking for us is to be a lot more cautious. I'm going to say some things that are not going to sit well with your sensibilities. So if you'll do me a favor, make sure you guys, if you can't handle my opinion, you might need to exit my video, okay? But the story details are going to become very graphic. Even some of the video is a little bit disturbing. So that's your disclaimer if you need to exit the video. We've done the story before. This is an update. And a Hillsborough County jury and a judge have decided the man convicted of killing his girlfriend and her 10-year-old son after a fight. After a fight about what to watch on TV. What to watch on a damn flat screen TV is what they was arguing and fussing over. He should die for his actions, according to the court. Tyrone Johnson. Let me see if I can get Tyrone face up on the screen. We're going to talk about that boy and his mom here in a minute. This, you guys, is Tyrone Johnson. And I'm going to tell you guys a little something. In my humble opinion, I'm not too sure how true this rings. But I think Tyrone just sounds like the type of boyfriend you don't want to have. Just by the name alone, that just sounds like a violent boyfriend name, a cheating, no good boyfriend name, a not taking care of his kids boyfriend type name. I don't know. An unemployed name. A lot of unemployed Tyrones out there. All right. Just my opinion. But this man was convicted of first and second degree murder for shooting Stephanie Willis, pretty lady right there, and her young son, Ricky. Shot them to death October 2018. So I did this in 2018. On the day of the killings, 42-year-old Tyrone Terrell Johnson called 911 claiming that he was the one being attacked by Willis. Now, deputies responded, and look, I'm gonna just tell the story because I got a lot to say about that. He was being attacked. So why'd you couldn't fend off this woman? You needed to shoot and kill her? Thought men were supposed to be stronger than women. Shot her and killed her. Anyway, deputies responded to the 4302 Mariners Cove Court in Tampa before 7 p.m. and found the victims inside the apartment where they lived. And I think that this man lived in her place, her residence. He lived off of her. Y'all continue to keep letting these men be leeches, ladies, till they suck you dry, cause your death. Johnson's trial lasted just more than a week, and the jury was shown a dramatic video of his interrogation after being arrested. And if y'all want to see that, it's absolutely comical. It is hilarious. If y'all want me to play the video, let me know. It is hilarious. It's a joke. That video right there, if y'all want me to play it, let me know. They were also shown images of the scene where Ricky and his mother's bodies were found next to each other on the floor. Johnson's public defender, Jennifer Spradley, said that Willis had been drinking that day with an argument over changing the TV channel, turning to personal insults, including one about Johnson's son's suicide. Wow. Johnson's attorney claimed Stephanie said, I see why your son killed himself like a expletive because you're a little expletive. After he was convicted, the jury heard what life has been like for the victims of the family since that day. The feeling of grief we will feel is never ending every minute of the day, said Ricky's aunt Denise. We will never get to see him grow up, never see who he would have become. We talk about that a lot, and that's according to his grandmother. Johnson's defense argued their client should get life, not death, for the murders, pointing to distress from his son's suicide in 2017. So it sounded like he was already dealing with some stuff. And if she knew that, then you'd have to know that that man ain't got no help. He's probably a little bit unstable. But she dated him anyway, even though he was dealing with PSD, also from his time in the military. Again, if you knew this and you put your son around him anyway. It's just not smart. He went through some mental anguish in the Army, according to his father. He did not come out of the Army the same person. However, the jury made a unanimous decision that Johnson was guilty of Stephanie and Ricky's murders and that he should die for his crimes. Ultimate penalty under law. Ricky's grandparents, Amber and Robert Hewitt, said that they felt that this was justice for Stephanie and Ricky. They were both pleased with the verdict and surprised. His grandma says her entire life she's always been against the death penalty until this issue hit home. Again, that's that internal conflict I'm talking about. Until you're faced with having to determine when you're put in a situation, it changes your mind, and it did for me. Even like with the Julius Jones case, he was granted clemency earlier today, which was awesome. But again, that's because it was personal to me, and I felt like the death penalty should be abolished, not only because there's so many people who end up losing their life and they were falsely convicted, wrongfully convicted, exonerated, but I don't think we also should be able to take a life. Like, I don't think we should be playing God, but like I said, that's just a personal conflict that a lot of us have, just like me. Nonetheless, there are currently 21 people from Hillsborough County, on Florida's death row, making Johnson number 22, according to state records. Using stats from the Department of Corrections from 1976 until the present, the average time an inmate in Florida spends on death row is a little more than 16 years. The last person sentenced to death in Hillsborough County was Granville Ritchie, who was sentenced for the rape and murder of a 9-year-old Felicia Williams in 2014, was handed down in 2020. We give you guys the fair usage. Be mindful about these videos. They're going to get a little bit wild. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. And don't forget, if you guys are interested in sharing this story, all you got to do is click that thumbs up and share the stream. Even the people who are joining the channel membership, thank you guys so much for doing that. But help share this story and let more people know about it, okay? Let's get it.
An argument over what to watch on TV led to the horrific double murder of a mother and her 10-year-old son 3 years ago. And prosecutors say the man who did it is the mother's live-in boyfriend, Tyrone Johnson. And now a jury will have to decide whether Johnson deserves the death penalty.
Fox 13's Gloria Gomez tonight shows us the chilling evidence the jury was shown in court today.
He was hiding from that man right there, Tyrone Johnson.
Prosecutors say Tyrone Johnson killed his girlfriend and her 10-year-old son.
That he went and hunted down that little boy and shot him under a bed.
Stephanie Willis and her son Ricky were found dead lying next to each other in a Tampa apartment complex they shared with Johnson. Prosecutors say the horrific events of October 21st, 2018 all began with an argument over what to watch on TV. Johnson's attorney says Stephanie had been drinking, and things quickly got personal, and the insults turned vile when Stephanie, they claim, insulted Johnson's son, who had just died by suicide.
See why your son killed himself like
Johnson, they say, used FaceTime to call his father in South Carolina for help. His father witnessed some of the confrontation.
He had just been trying to leave when Stephanie attacked him.
This man then fought for our country in the Army. His son committed suicide. So if we're going to talk about mental illness, PTSD, are they not going to give him and tell him, well, I wonder what he was going through and what he was suffering from emotionally? I want y'all to understand throughout this, I'm just pointing it out, how we don't treat men and women the same way. If we're talking about equality, this just seems to be unequal. He fought for our country, even though the story is wild in itself and is no excuse for his actions. Shouldn't there be some leeway for those who fought for our country? Hello? When's the last time you've heard somebody speak on this? I've said it a few times. If you fought for our country, we should be taking care of those people first. They should be treated like first-class citizens and not like third and fourth-class citizens, like they don't mean anything, like they're less than us. They're not equal to us or less than us. I think that they are above us because they put their lives on the line to defend our country, and I think they should get the utmost respect. Our veterans and current military. Hello? We don't really have a great system, and they'll even tell you that. We don't have a great system in place to help our military who are suffering. We just had Veterans Day. How many of y'all was talking about tagging all your veteran people, family and friends that you know, talk about Happy Veterans Day? But y'all don't bother to ask them what they're suffering with, what they're going through, that they got to live with for the rest of their life. We don't go through what they go through. Shout out and salute to our military armed services, all of them, even our what do they call it? Not first responders. Shout out to our first responders, our doctors, nurses, hospital, all of those people. We should not have homeless veterans in America. That's stupid. Greatest country in the world, my ass. That's stupid, the fact that we have homeless veterans. That makes no sense. Just had to speak from the heart for a moment. I've got military in my family. I don't know if y'all know, my daughter's mom, military. Got military all up and through my family. My daughter's my daughter's cousin, military. My great-grandfather, military. My dad's dad, military. My cousin, military. I've got my uncle, military. Let's keep going, because that does have to do with this story. And just understand, they didn't get this man no leeway for his PTSD. None of it.
That he hears the phone drop and 2 shots.
They say he shot Stephanie twice and then went after the boy, who they say was hiding under his bed.
We have shell casings, we have blood, we have holes in the wall. And the little boys.
Prosecutors say this was a cold and calculated double murder by Johnson, who deserves to pay with his life. However, the defense argues this was a crime of passion.
But he did do this. It was manslaughter. And as he said on the 911 call, he is so very sorry for what happened.
Gloria Gomez, Fox 13 News.
Well, that hysterical murder defendant breaks down as he's questioned by police about the killing of his girlfriend and her 10-year-old son. That's what the jury saw today in the double murder trial of Tyrone Johnson. Prosecutors say Johnson planned the murders. His defense attorneys say a recording of the police interview shows something else, though. Fox 13's Gloria Gomez shows us how investigators today handled it.
Tyrone Johnson cried hysterically during his interview with investigators.
Tyrone.
The jury watched as detectives tried to calm him down repeatedly and struggled to understand what he was saying about the day he gunned down his girlfriend, Stephanie Willis, and her 10-year-old son, Ricky. Both were found dead in a bedroom apartment they shared with Johnson. Prosecutors say the horrific events of October 21st, 2018 all began with an argument over what to watch on TV.
I changed to TV.
You changed the TV?
To football.
Okay.
Johnson continued to break down as he claimed the fight turned personal when Stephanie blamed him for his son's recent suicide.
She said, I see why your son killed himself like because you were and I called her back and I said, come and get me.
Johnson called his father for help and heard some of the confrontation.
That he hears the phone drop and 2 shots.
Johnson claims the boy came running into the master bedroom.
Did he say you hurt my mommy? Is that what he said? Yes?
But prosecutors say that's not what the evidence shows. They say the frightened 10-year-old hid under his bed and was hunted down by Johnson.
Here's what I believe. I believe this man absolutely hunted that boy down in the house and went off on that woman because she pressed at his manhood, pressed at his pride, pressed at his emotion. Talking about his deceased son. That's a low blow. I'm not saying that she deserved it because she don't. Military or not, take your ass elsewhere. Grown ass man didn't need to do that to her. You didn't need to fight with her. Didn't need to get physical. You didn't need to do this. But 2 things can be true. Not only should he have been a man and didn't do this, which is true. Mom shouldn't have said what she said, which is true. But you also cannot forget about the fact that he served our country and suffers from PTSD, which further exacerbated this problem. And because he was dealing with the loss of his son in that time as well. All of that can be true. You can convict him and defend him. Do y'all understand that? How many people understand what I just said? How many people can have an open mind and understand that you can hold him accountable as well as defend him? You can hold the mom accountable as well as defend her and her son. Here's what I believe happened. He got into it with the mom. He killed them, start beating the mom, probably killed the mom by that point. And the son came in trying to defend his mom. He tried to come in, put his cape on, and be Superman because somehow these boys look at their mothers like they would look at their wives and not their moms, who should be defending them and not the other way around. Do I think that the boys defending their mom is a bad thing? You goddamn right I do. I'm going to make sure that my words are very clear. Should these boys be defending their mothers, providing for their mothers, going out and making sure mama got a house and all of that? And shout out to Tommy, by the way, because I do share a lot of talking points with Tommy, but everybody understands that. The son should never reflect your husband or boyfriend in any shape, form, or fashion. That's disgusting. That's why these boys grow up so jacked up. Look, ladies, please understand what I'm saying. Do y'all wonder why the dating pool is so spoiled, full of these men who act like little boys who are so jacked up, mama's boys? How many of y'all have ever dated some of these jacked up men? Y'all ran into some, right? Be all up in your damn inbox, all up in the videos. Huh? Am I speaking to any ladies' hearts out there? Who are my ladies who have dated some of these lame ass men who act like little boys? Immature as hell. They are not raised to learn how to be husbands and responsible men. It is never a boy's responsibility to raise his mama's choices. Otherwise, why the fuck do we keep having kids? We're clearly having too many kids. If you depend on your children, hashtag babies for benefits. If you depend on your children to bring something to the table, that makes you an incoherent, irresponsible, terrible parent. Children don't have to bring a damn thing to the table. My daughter understands this. She needs, I provide. She wants, I go get it. Flat out. I hope my message is that is an extreme message. I know. I'm talking to your heart. I'm speaking to your soul. I'm trying to talk through this screen, and I hope that you guys are listening to me. Your sons and your children should never be your providers. By the time they get grown, screw me as a parent. Don't worry about me. Go out into the world and go do your thing. Help me pay some bills. How about no? Huh? No. Don't pay my bills. Don't pay my electric. Don't pay nothing. Don't go get me a house and car and jewelry and blah, blah, blah. You should be doing that for yourself and your wife and your family. This is where it starts. This is the root cause. I'm going to go back and show you guys those pictures of that boy and his mom. And I'm going to tell you why that boy put that cape on to go in there to try to save his mom from a man who was in the damn military.
We have shell casings, we have blood, we have holes in the wall. In the little boy's room.
Prosecutors say a cold and calculated killer that deserves to pay with his life. Gloria Gomez, Fox 13 News.
So if Johnson's convicted of first-degree premeditated murder, he could face the death penalty.
Next video.
The verdict is in, guilty of 2 counts of murder. That's what the jury has handed down in the capital murder trial of Tyrone Johnson. Johnson gunned down his girlfriend and her 10-year-old son 3 years ago. Well, now Johnson could face execution in the penalty phase of the case.
Fox 13's Gloria Gomez shows us tonight the evidence the jury weighed before handing down their verdict.
30 feet, 15 steps, hunting down a 10-year-old child. That's what premeditation is.
Heat of passion, not premeditation.
I don't know how they're getting him on premeditation. This sounds like it happened all at one moment. He acted in that moment. This don't sound like he planned this over no days and months. That's premeditation. This sounds like heat of the moment, crime of passion.
There's been no dispute on who did it.
A tragic situation that got out of control.
One last pitch to the jury in the capital murder trial of Tyrone Johnson. Prosecutors say in October of 2018, Johnson killed his live-in girlfriend, Stephanie Willis, and her 10-year-old son, Ricky, during an argument over what to watch on TV. A hysterical Johnson told police things got ugly when he claimed Stephanie blamed him for his son's recent suicide.
She said, I see why your son killed himself like because you're
Johnson said he felt under attack by Stephanie and claimed the child came in running into the master bedroom while he was shooting uncontrollably.
Listen again. What did the boy do?
And claimed the child came in running into the master bedroom while he was shooting uncontrollably.
He came in there, put his Superman cape on for mama to go battle a hardened military person.
Under attack by Stephanie and claimed the child came in running into the master bedroom while he was shooting uncontrollably.
Did he say you hurt my mommy? Is that what he said? Yes?
But prosecutors say that's not what the evidence shows. They say Johnson went looking for the frightened child who was hiding under his bed.
The shell casings are right there in front of the bed, and they line right up with those 2 holes underneath the bed.
Chilling images they want the jury to remember as they decide whether Johnson is a calculated killer or someone who lost control during the heat of passion.
I think he hunted the boy down.
Gloria Gomez, Fox 13 News.
Now, the jury did find Johnson guilty of first-degree premeditated murder and second-degree murder, and now Johnson could be sentenced to death penalty phase, to death.
I don't know how they were able to get premeditated. If they look at the definition of premeditated, this is not premeditated. There's some things that they inherently got wrong. But nonetheless, I want you guys to remember that everything that I said can be right. We can excoriate this man and say what he did was wrong, sentence him, and put him in prison for life. Death penalty? I don't think so. But we could also defend him and say that he had a very, very tragic situation. We don't know what this man was going through when it came to losing his son to suicide. Guarantee you that man loved his son. And then you see this woman and her son, and you're thinking about your son, and then she turn around and you got that open wound, and she takes her finger and sticks her finger in your open wound. Still not an excuse for murder, but I bet that shit hurt though. His mental state, he snapped. Now granted, when it comes to the mom should not have been dating somebody this damn unstable. This man didn't have any type of counseling for any of this stuff that he was dealing with. It's a dangerous situation, not only for the mom to put herself in a situation to not only date this man, but to live with this man and have your son around him. So your son ended up being a casualty. And I'm going to show y'all these pictures because I personally believe that the boy might try to go in there and save his mom and maybe retreat it. I don't know that for a fact, but it does look like the boy might have been trying to defend his mom. If I could show you guys a couple pictures where I just looked like, I was like, they just look a little bit too friendly. I just thought it looked like the typical mom and son relationship was doing a little bit too much. Too in love with your son. I don't know. That's just a personal opinion. Like this. That looks like a boy who would go defend his mom. I got a couple more pictures like that. Let me see if I can find it. Like this one. This one kind of looks like, that don't really look like a mom and son to me. It looks like a love type picture. Even this, it's just a personal opinion. I just don't like it. I don't like it. Like even like this, like they're constantly taking pictures like they're a couple or something. Even like this, him standing behind his mom, up on his mom like that looks like a couple. And I'm telling you guys this from a psychological standpoint, and you have to go do your research. Please do your research before you get mad about what I said, and go look up the fact of how messed up these boys are in their view and relationship with their moms are, especially when their moms treat them like they say they little man, the man of the house. I'm the man. I'm the man that my dad never was. Very, very strong things. And it's a complex, even though we do have some mothers out there who have taken that even quite a few steps further, but it's still a very, very bad psychology when it comes to how you raise your kids. And there has to be a clear line between mother and son, child and parent. They shouldn't be your buddy, but they damn shouldn't be like my little man. That's my girl. That's my woman type thing. No. The mom suffered a tragic death. She was a victim. So was her son. That man deserves life in prison. And it's just that simple. But again, I'm telling you guys this story as a cautionary tale so that we don't make these type of decisions going forward, and be more careful, do a background check, be more educated, and don't bring your children around your boyfriends. One thing to bring your children around your husband, don't bring your children around your boyfriends, okay? It's a very dangerous thing to do. Thank you guys for listening with an open mind as well as an open heart. If you disagree, I don't mind you disagreeing. Be respectful in the comments section. Post your thoughts. We'll hear you out. But make sure you're speaking on facts, okay? Do your research.